Imagine it's the year 1820. You have a terrible toothache, or worse, a broken leg that's gone bad. You walk into a hospital. There are no clean white walls, no soft beeping monitors, just wood, blood, and a scream you can hear from behind a curtain. The doctor doesn't offer you a needle to put you to sleep. He hands you a bottle of cheap whiskey, a leather strap to bite on, and says, "Drink up, buddy, this is gonna hurt." Yes. Before the mid-1800s, pain-free surgery was a myth. There was no numbing cream, no local injection, no gentle countdown from 10. If a surgeon needed to cut open your body, you felt every single cut, no exceptions, no mercy. And the worst part? You were expected to just sit there and take it, because complaining wouldn't make the knife move any slower. Welcome to the terrifying, bizarre, and surprisingly fast-paced world of surgery before anesthesia. Today, we're looking at how humans survived the ultimate test of pain and the insane, occasionally ridiculous methods doctors used to keep them from screaming the hospital down. Because pain medicine did not exist, the best surgeon in the world wasn't the cleanest or the smartest. He was the fastest. Precision took a back seat. Speed was everything, because every extra second on that table was another second of agony the patient had to survive. Meet Robert Liston. In the 1830s, he was known as the fastest knife in the West End. This man could amputate a human leg in under 3 minutes, total, saw and all. Surgeons back then didn't train for accuracy the way they do today. They trained like sprinters, practicing on cadavers just to shave a few seconds off their time. Why the rush? Because the longer the surgery took, the more likely the patient was to die from shock, blood loss, or just sheer unbearable pain. A slow, careful surgeon was, ironically, a more dangerous surgeon. Patients didn't want gentle. They wanted fast. Liston once amputated a leg in 28 seconds. 28. That's barely enough time to explain what's about to happen, let alone survive it. Spectators would actually time him with pocket watches like he was running a race instead of removing a limb. But speed has its downsides. During one of his lightning-fast surgeries, Liston was moving so quickly that he accidentally sliced off his assistant's fingers. In the chaos, he also apparently nicked a spectator's coat with his blade mid-swing. Both the patient and the assistant later died of infection, because remember, nobody was sterilizing anything back then. And a spectator watching from the crowd dropped dead from sheer terror, a heart attack, mid-operation, just from watching the sheer speed and blood of it all. One surgery, 3 deaths. This is, unofficially, the only surgery in history with a 300% mortality rate. And somehow, Liston is still remembered as one of the greatest surgeons of his era, because compared to everyone else, he genuinely was. But wait, didn't doctors try to knock people out before cutting them open? Surely someone thought of that. Oh, they tried, but their methods were, let's say, highly questionable, occasionally terrifying, and almost never actually safe. First up, the knockout method. Quite literally, some doctors kept a wooden club nearby and would hit the patient over the head until they passed out, treating unconsciousness like a light switch you could just flip with enough force. The problem was, there was no science to it, no calibration, no way to measure exactly how hard was hard enough. If you hit too soft, the patient wakes up halfway through, furious and in agony, thrashing on the table. If you hit too hard, congratulations, you've just killed your patient before the surgery even started. It was less medicine and more a very dangerous guessing game. Then there was the chokehold method. Doctors would squeeze the carotid artery in your neck until your brain ran out of oxygen and you fainted, essentially strangling you into unconsciousness on purpose. It worked, sometimes. But one wrong move meant you weren't waking up for the surgery, or for anything else, ever again. The line between asleep and gone was uncomfortably thin, and doctors were crossing it based on instinct alone. So most doctors settled for the safer, more socially acceptable option: extreme intoxication. Gallons of rum, gin, or opium-soaked wine, called laudanum, until you were numb, dizzy, and barely aware of your own name. Some patients were so drunk they couldn't even remember the operation afterward, which, honestly, might have been the one small mercy in this entire era. The problem? Alcohol thins your blood. Patients getting sliced open while drunk out of their minds often bled out faster than a sober patient would have. So the very thing meant to dull the pain was quietly making the surgery itself more likely to kill them. If you lived somewhere cold, you had an even stranger option. Doctors discovered that packing a limb in ice and snow for an hour would numb the nerves enough to dull an amputation. Patients would sit there, shivering uncontrollably, watching their own limb slowly turn a strange shade of gray. It actually worked, sort of. The catch was it also gave you severe frostbite, so you'd survive the amputation only to now deal with dead, blackened tissue on whatever was left. Progress, one frozen limb at a time. And then came the strangest method of all, mesmerism. Yes, hypnosis. Doctors genuinely tried to put patients into a deep trance, using nothing but calm words and slow hand movements, hoping the mind could simply be convinced to ignore the pain entirely. For minor things, it occasionally worked, and some doctors swore by it as a legitimate medical technique. But the moment the bone saw came out and the real cutting began, that peaceful trance broke almost instantly, usually accompanied by a scream loud enough to wake up the entire ward. Because none of these methods worked reliably, every hospital had one true secret weapon: the hold-down crew. Not doctors, not nurses, just strong, often intimidatingly large men whose entire job was to pin the patient to the table so they couldn't thrash, flail, or bolt for the door while the doctor did his work. Think about that for a second. The most reliable piece of medical technology in an entire hospital wasn't a tool or a drug. It was just muscle. Brute strength was the closest thing to anesthesia that actually worked every single time. Everything changed on October 16, 1846, in Boston. A dentist named William Morton did something that, at the time, sounded completely insane, almost like a magic trick nobody believed would actually work. He used a sweet-smelling gas called ether on a patient before surgery. He held a sponge soaked in the liquid up to the patient's face, and the room full of doctors watched, half expecting nothing to happen at all. The patient breathed it in and slowly, quietly drifted off to sleep. No screaming, no thrashing, no hold-down crew required. For the first time in recorded medical history, a patient about to be cut open looked completely, peacefully calm. The surgeon removed a tumor from the patient's neck, and the man didn't flinch once. Not a twitch, not a sound. Nothing that resembled the agony everyone in that room had witnessed 100 times before. When the patient woke up, he said he felt absolutely nothing. The surgeon turned to the shocked audience, still holding his scalpel, and said, "Gentlemen, this is no humbug." That one sentence in that one room quietly ended centuries of surgical horror. News of it spread across the world within months, and hospitals everywhere scrambled to get their hands on ether. Soon after, chloroform was discovered, and it spread even faster, partly because it was easier to use and partly because it simply worked better for longer procedures. It became so popular that even Queen Victoria used it during childbirth, and once the Queen of England was personally on board, pain-free procedures officially became the new normal, almost overnight, after centuries of doctors relying on clubs, chokeholds, and sheer luck. So the next time you go to the dentist or need a minor surgery, and they casually give you a small injection or a mask to breathe into, take a second to genuinely appreciate it. That tiny, boring, completely unremarkable moment of relief took centuries of trial, error, and honestly, a horrifying amount of accidental death to arrive at. Because the alternative was a wooden mallet to the head, a stranger choking you into unconsciousness, and a guy named Robert trying to break his own 22nd world record on your leg, while a crowd of strangers watched and timed him with a pocket watch. So, would you have survived a surgery in 1820? Be honest with yourself for a second and really think about it. Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through medical horror, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay curious. See you in the next one.